All right, family, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. As you can see right here, I got the background unchanged, everything else unchanged. We're going to go ahead and continue on with the same video. Thanks for being patient. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Let's go ahead and get it back started.
Please. It don't actually matter who wins. They don't actually have a material impact on us because of, frankly, where we are financially. Well, let me say this here to a brother out there who is asking a question about unemployment, getting capital for business, things on those lines. You better be asking yourself, who cares about your health care? Who cares about your education? Who cares about civil rights? Who cares about the environment? You've got a hurricane bearing down another one all across the country. You, brother, providing benefits to you, be able to escape that and you can take care of your family. What we got to do is stop saying what folks not doing.
And just with that, man, we got another hurricane, but guess what? Guess what? This current administration has already failed, saying FEMA saying they ran out of money, but we're giving millions and millions of dollars away to other countries. But let's continue.
And step back and say, let me find out people are.
That's what I say, man. These politics. Politics, I can't do. You know, one day, hopefully, we can all come together, but I doubt it. In this world, it's made like this for a reason, man. I hate the division that they put between us. All
Check
these
this out. State Farm was
commercials,
charging
man.
me
Boy, I tell you.
$150 for Thank you.
All these.
Find out what people are doing, and then how that's impacting my life.
Yeah, Roland. I can feel you on that, Roland, but here's my deal. Like, for example, that message being sent by you is admirable. I'm glad I'm giving you my airways. You got your own, but I'm glad I'm giving you my airways to say, what you're saying because you deserve it. The flip side to this is this, though. Kamala Harris should be saying that more effectively. Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, I appreciate her on The View. I appreciate her on Stephen Colbert. I appreciate her in those platforms. They ain't Roland Martin. Now let me give you, and I know how liberal leaning you are, but I also know that even when liberals sit in front of you, they better bring their stuff. There's gonna be a problem. You ain't gonna let them off the hook.
That's how I say this. I'm black leaning.
Yeah, fine, right. No. I'm good with it. No, I'm good with that. That's accurate. I'm just saying, where the hell did she sit down with you yet?
Hold up. That's actually happening.
Stupid. Okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Okay. But to your point, trust me, I've been saying this for years as well. You're absolutely right. You have to also, for instance, about 3 weeks ago, she was on Ricky Smiley's show.
Yeah.
They did all the smoke, but that's also part of the deal. Part of the deal is with these campaigns, talking about trends now, and again, they don't look like us. This is also getting to understand you better have a better respect for Black-owned media and for Black voices, and also how you communicate. Again, where the campaigns have made a mistake is they don't understand the old model of getting the Black churches, going to NAACP. That's gone. We're now living in a world, digital world, technology world. We're getting information from different voices, from podcasts.
And researching, doing your own research. That's the thing.
I've done your show 3 times. Add up all the views, it almost gets 1 million. Guess what? It's the shows on CNN not even getting 400,000 people. So that's why those shows are mad, because people are going to other places.
They want to find out information.
Black men. What needs to be happening here, the messaging absolutely has to change. They got to be driving out more surrogate. What you are seeing is, her talk about the opportunity, but what also has to happen, you start talking about facts. Brother tell me, man, Trump with the stimulus checks, I go, you realize that Biden has a bigger check in 2021?
That's right.
Trump gave us money.
Trump gave us money for HBCUs. Do you realize that Biden is giving you a lot more for HBCU. You realize that?
Wait, hold on.
I get you.
I'm about to really mess you up. The budget that Trump submitted cut HBCU funding.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
the budget that Dr. Walter Kimbrough, who's been a HBCU president of Board for Schools, has broken down. He submitted budget that actually cut HBCU funding. It was restored by Congress. But he's been pushing a lot. But again, folks fell for the lie of, oh no, I guaranteed them funding. Not true. So all these
I saw your show. I saw your show when you did that. I saw that guest on your show when you had to check him. I remember I watched that.
There you go. So all these people we're talking about what they
All right, let's stop right there. Just because he was saying that, that doesn't necessarily mean it was true. I actually researched this myself. So obviously you go to budget. Did Trump, look up restored black funding? And actually he did. They saying that he stopped it, but when you go to the research, and it doesn't show up with that. So Trump higher education budget robs more than $5 billion from low income students. This is one to go opposing against Trump right here. So you read into it and stuff like that. They're saying all the money that was surplus in it, he did these cuts, but cuts from the program that support low income students and students of color. Pell Grant, 3 million. SEOG. So y'all see all this and that. If you don't read into it, then you wouldn't understand that the surplus. If you don't know what we got. The lotto insurance normally is free for people who are low income, stuff like that, going to regular college. HCBUs, these colleges are already overpriced myself. I remember going to South Carolina. I'd rather go to South Carolina University than Allen Benedict or Benedict College or Allen University at the time, because they cost more than the bigger college. What sense did that make? You just because you want to go to a HBCU school, which is a black owned, but you're paying out more money that you can't afford just to attend this, and your degree ain't even as strong as it would going to a major college. So they saying that it was a cuts. Impressive spend to claim $3.9 billion in cut from the Pell Grant program. Because it was coming from projected $2.6 billion in surplus. So just let that register. They saying they cut $3.9 billion from what he claimed that Trump is cutting money from it, but they have a surplus in that's over. I remember going there and the college didn't get sued or whatever else, taking loans out in people's name. A lot of other colleges from that, just from these loans. It's horrible out there, but they already have a $10.6 billion surplus in the program that ain't going to low income students. What sense did that make? So if he cut 3.9, it's not affecting nothing no time soon. But why? Fortunately, this cut would not hurt students immediately because it's coming out of a projected $10 billion surplus in the program. So how did they get all this money in the program? And now it never went to people who actually need it. But let's go ahead and continue. Okay, cure the disease and kill the patient. I don't know what it's talking about right here. But even still, a majority of SECO money goes to low-income students. According to U.S. Department of Education data, 81% of SEOG dollars went either to students whose family earn less than $30,000 or to independent students who are highly likely to low income. Another 16% goes to families making between 30 and 60%. So, they go through the breakdown of all this and that. So it never hurts. The Pell Grant is a little additional that you get. You don't have a payback. But how many other grants, if you fall in this category, not making enough, that the cuts from it, it's not going to affect those people regardless, because they don't even get these grants. They get other things. You get the lotto. If you're a resident in that state, either free colleges, that's what the lotto tuition thing was supposed to be about. So I hate the false information about it, but let's go ahead into the other one right there. Let me close this ad. Come on, man. Trump signs bill restoring funding for black colleges. As you can see right here, President Trump on Thursday signed a bipartisan bill that permanently provided. What is he doing? Well, I tell you, all these doggone ads. They try to stop you from giving out the right information, but it ain't gonna happen. provided more than $250 million a year in the National Historic Black Colleges and Universities, along with dozens of other institutions that serve large shares and minority students. In signing the bill, Trump said historically Black schools have never had better champions in the White House. When I took office, I promised to fight for HBCUs. My administration continues to deliver. Trump signed a few months ago funding HBCUs was in jeopardy, but the White House and Congress came together and reached a historic agreement. Michael Lemont's president and CEO of the United Negro College Fund thanked Trump and thousands of advocates who lobbied Congress to support the bill. We enlisted 20,000 supporters. Okay. We go down to the bill restore $255 million annual funding that lapsed on September 30th. After Congress failed to renew it, facing it into funding, some schools had started planning for deep cuts, with some telling staff that jobs or programs will be eliminated. So let that sink in. They keep saying that Trump didn't support them, he didn't pass the bill, he didn't do this and that. But as you can clearly see right here, September 30th, Congress failed to renew it. So they canceled the funding for colleges or HBCUs regardless. They canceled it. $255 million was out the door because it lapsed. That means they ain't care nothing about the colleges at that time. So it lapsed and he restored it. So the misleading information, like I said, y'all can research this for yourself. Just Google Trump HBCUs and look up these laws but for yourself to see who actually failed. That was Congress. Had nothing to do with Trump. But lawmakers in the Senate recently reached a bipartisan deal that saved the funding. They compromised, added an amendment that will simplify the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, the form of college students to determine if they're eligible for financial aid. And I remember back in school, and this was a long time ago, of course, that we had to pay $100, $200, whatever for the application. And even if he wasn't accepted, you don't get that money back. So that's coming from my time. But let's go ahead and continue. The legislation will allow the education department to gather certain information directly from the IRS, which will eliminate up to 22 of the 108 questions in the form. It's also meant to curb the verification process some families face to make sure they provided the same information to the IRS and to the Department of Education. So you can see right there, they had all those questions on there. That's why most families never did receive these grants, and they couldn't get the money that they wanted to if they was low income. But FAFSA simplification estimated to save $2.8 billion over a decade, which will be used to provide the $255 million a year in minority institutions. The bill authorizes $85 million a year for historic Black colleges and universities, along with $100 million for Hispanic serving institutions, $30 million for tribal schools, and $40 million for a variety of other minority serving institutions. The money is primarily meant to expand programs in science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're not going to go over the rest. I just wanted to go ahead and put that in there. They clearly say it wasn't, but we clearly see right here that it was canceled. You know, you get other articles that'll tell you one thing right there, that show all the stats. They don't go into the full details. And another one right here, Trump administration FY 2018 budget missing the march for HBCUs. They go on to it saying that he didn't, but we clearly see Trump proposed budget will cut federal student aid programs for more than $143 billion over 10 years. And they already got $230 billion surplus, which never went to these colleges. As I said before, nearly $90 billion in 10 years, possible major investments in Pell Grants, $800 billion. Okay, we done went through all of this and the stats. The program recently unfounded constitutional concerns. HBCU was aligned, present budget $31 million above FY 2017 level, $13 million. So they asked for more, but they got they wanted, I guess, $313 million, but they got $255 million, even though they're in a surplus of over 250 something. You know, you've seen all the money they got. Wanted, it's just ridiculous of how much money just sitting there waited, and we got people who want to go to college but couldn't get the funding that they needed. That should never happen. But that's just the world that we live in. But let's go ahead and continue. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think.
Trump Department of Justice said we're going to pull back on consent decree. because they hurt police morale. Trump, Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr, they investigated one police department. Biden, Harris, DOJ, they have investigated 12. They literally put cops in prison. So if you're saying who's been better on criminal justice reform, who's been holding cops accountable, it ain't even close.
No, it ain't close because no government investigates police like that. Like I said, I left from Georgia Bureau of Investigations. That's you got internal affairs, you got outside agencies like GBI. Come on, man, stop spreading the misinformation. That means 25 years of law enforcement. Y'all should know better than that, that the government doesn't investigate local police. Let's go.
Talk about it. Now, if we're not going to fight president, we're going to discuss that.
My last question, I'm going to throw this about because this is a deep proportion. This is my thinking, and I'm not saying it's different than yours. It's just that being in corporate America, having to maneuver through the terrain that we both have had to maneuver through for decades, knowing the challenges that we face. One of the things that I'm popular for saying is flatter me. You know, I want to buy a house. I ain't buying it without you showing it to me. I got to look in it. I want to buy a car. I want to see. I want to test drive that bad boy. I got to see it. You know, and then I think about civil rights, 1964. I think about voting rights, 1965. I think about Lyndon B. Johnson talking about we'll have the Negroes voting for us for the next 200 years if we pull this off. He was the president, but both Republicans and Democrats supposedly brought it to his desk to be signed, and the Democrats got all the credit for it. And ever since that time, to me, we have said to the Republican Party, we want nothing to do with y'all. And the Democratic Party has known this. So on one side, you got a party that knows they ain't going to get our support, as your chart showed. So therefore, they ain't going to do it so much. And on the left, they know they got our support. So how much do they have to do for us beyond lip service, which to me epitomizes the struggle involving disenfranchisement to some degree when we're talking about our community. It is fair for me to ask you, as my brother and my boy, and who I respect, how right I am or how wrong I am in feeling that way.
You're right.
What I just articulated.
That's just facts.
You the last word. Now lean on what you said.
You're partly right, but you got to go back way further.
Wow.
Okay. Black people.
And before he go on this rant, man, this is what I got to tell you. They can't answer simple questions. Now you want to go back to the history and stuff like that, which I'm going to debunk here shortly. But why not answer the question? Is he right or wrong about feeling that way? He's right because we already know they're not going to help our people regardless. But regardless of the fact, it's not, they push you on the left side or right side, but just make your own sense. Do your research, find out the right information for yourself, and let's go ahead.
Of slavery, people of African descent, formerly enslaved Africans. Listen up, this election.
Another doggone commercial, boy, I'll tell you. Another commercial, but I'm as glad I did it. I got this one right here when he go to this Lily. He's going to talk about it shortly, but clearly I went ahead and debunked it. But that's the thing. You got these people spreading false information or make whatever narrative they want to feel. I mean, just throw you off. These commercials are killing me. Come on, man. Let's go ahead.
Aligned with Republicans because there was a group called the Radical Republicans. Mm-hmm. It was the Radical Republicans that pushed forth the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. They were opposed to slavery. Then you had about an 8 to 10 year period of Reconstruction. Black people were running for office. The majority of the South Carolina legislature, on and on and on. Then there was an election in 1876, contested election. They cut a deal, which was called the Great Combine in 1877, where they pulled the federal troops out of the last 3 southern states. What then happened? Then the racist Southern Democrats took over and ran all the black people out. What then happened was the Radical Republicans, they stopped protecting black people. Black folks were angry. So then when you go through the black people, half the black people, and Bruce Barton, longtime Republican, go to his Twitter feed, he literally did a bunch of this stuff earlier today, that go through the early 20th century, more than 50% of black people were still voting Republican. Then the Republicans started aligning with Southern Democrats. It was called the Lily White movement. Y'all look up Lily White movement. Herbert Hoover was a leader of the Lily White movement. Then all of a sudden, start going forward, then what then happened? Well, a lot of these Republicans joined with Southern Democrats. They opposed FDR and the benefits for Black people. Guess what? Losing Black support. Go to 1960. Kennedy, Nixon. Nixon was not aggressive in going after the Black vote. That angered Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson talked about it in his book. And then you go to 64. 1964, it was Barry Goldwater, Senator Barry Goldwater, opposed 64 Civil Rights Act. That's when the break happened. That's when Black folks said, oh, the hell with this here. We done with y'all. And that's when it flipped. Then you go to 68. They began to, and a lot of the Republicans were supportive of civil rights. And then go look at the Barry Goldwater book, The Conscience of a Conservative. It was that book that the shift began to happen. Then you had the Southern Strategy. They began conservative Democrats, conservative Republicans, about to be blown away. A lot of Republicans supported the 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, the filibuster, 68 Civil Rights Act. It was Brooke, Black man, Brooke filibuster the Senate. Check this out. Continue in the House. But the Republicans were like, you don't want to live in Brussels.
All right, he's getting me tired just talking about nothing. At the end of the day, he's trying to say that the Republican Party was against helping Black people out of slavery. That's why it goes back to the Black people went to the Democratic side. But once you actually come up, Norris Wright Conley, African-American chairman of Republic of Texas Party way back then. And this is a Black man, even though he don't look like he's still, I guess, an African-American chairman of the Republican Party, even back then. Now, the Lily White movie, he tried to say it's from races, whatever, they was against Black. Who started it? The Lily White movement was an anti-Black political movement within the Republican Party in the U.S. in the late 19th and 20th centuries in response to political and socio-economic gains made by African Americans following the Civil War. So Black people started raising up, building cities, this and that, people of power. As you can see right here, this guy right here is a Republican Party chairman. So he's a person of importance in Texas at that time, following the Civil War and the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. So you can see life seems like it's been pretty much people of color have been holding the steam way back, and which eliminated slavery and voluntary servitude and stuff like this. During the Reconstruction, back, I don't see it 7 years, but during Reconstruction, Black leaders in the South gained influence in the Republican Party. So what party Black people started to gain influence is the Republican Party first. By organized Black people as an important voting bloc for union leads and the biracial Black and tan faction of the Republicans. Conservative whites attempted to eliminate influence and recover white voters who had defected to the Democrat Party. So make sure y'all look at this now. Biracial Black and tan faction of the Republicans. Conservative whites attempted to eliminate the influence and recover white voters who had defected to the Democrat Party. The Lily White movement proved successful throughout the South and was a key factor in the growth of the Republican Party in the region. So in the South, you had people defecting to the Democrats, trying to create division within the Republican Party, who was a party pretty much for the help uprising of Black individuals right after slavery, helping them get their power and stuff like this, as you can see right here. So what he was saying, whatever the guy name is persuading you to believe that the Democrats have always been for Black people, which is the opposite of the case. Actually looking at this right here. A researcher for yourself, pull it up, but the Little White movement was coined by Black Texas Republican leader Norris Wright Conley, who used the term in that 1888 state Republican convention to describe efforts by white conservatives to oust Black people from positions of Texas Republican Party leadership and incite riots to divide the party. All this is still go up to date. The divide between the Democrat Republican has always come today. You can always have these subgroups in there trying to create division between people, just like we see today in politics. Instead of talking about policies that actually matter for people. But the term came used nationally to describe this ongoing movement as it's further developed in the early 20th century. And I think it's still come to today. Immediately following the war, so the Black states codes tending the rights Newly free African Americans, many northern states incited their own black codes restricting and barring black immigration. The Civil Rights Act of 1866, however, nullified most of these laws, and the Federal Freedmen's Bureau was able to regulate many of the affairs of Southern black men who were granted the right to vote in 1867. Groups such as the Union League and Radical Republicans sought totally equality and complete integration. So groups such as the Union League and Radical Republicans sought to totally equality, total equality and complete integration of black people into American society. So he was saying radical Republicans, but they want equality for everybody. Man, I just tell you, the Republican Party itself held significant power in the South during Reconstruction because of the federal government's role. During Reconstruction, union leagues were formed across the South after 1867 as all black working auxiliaries of the Republican Party. They were secret organizations that mobilized freedmen to register to vote and to vote Republican. They discussed political issues, promoted civic projects, and mobilized workers opposed to certain employees. Most branches were segregated, but a few were integrated. The leaders of all black units were mostly urban black people from North who had never been enslaved, historic effort. So even with that being said, man, I just wanted to show some of that information. You know, had some black people doing slavery who was in the North who were never slaves. A lot of people, we don't understand that. We don't even get the gist that all black people wasn't slaves in America. You had people from the North who wasn't slaves. That's why they came down to help people in the South. But you read it for yourself, look up what he was saying, Google this information. Don't be persuaded by anybody to vote whatever opposite way.
L.B. James sent a letter on 568 saying, "This passed this bill to honor his legacy," signed into law 9 days later. Ever since then, Republicans began to use the Southern strategy. They began to align with those Southern Democrats, Dixiecrats, and begin to tribe on the issue of race. Ever since then. Now, so Republicans look, one of the first bills, I want to blow you away, one of the first bills Republicans took up after Trump won, became in 2017, they got rid of an Obama-era law to end discrimination in auto house.
You still ain't answered the question. Come on, man. Answer the question. Like I said, I know Stephen ain't this his boy. Let me fast forward some of this. It's
not for Harris. They always leave out the white part. Don't want to talk about that. Gotta confront whiteness as an identity in America. Understand American politics.
And like I said before, man, they always about you saying you got to confront it. It's not about black and white and stuff like that. They try to make this division, blackness, whiteness, whatever the case, to make the narrative fit for you. It wasn't right or wrong. I mean, all these decisions is affecting everybody. It's not just about color, but even if you're a Democrat, you can clearly see going at the kids. I never be on board with that. I never support a party who pretty much don't care nothing about your kids and who is just getting ungodly for me. Even though I don't do politics, I never vote for that party. I put it like that. But I just think that we just need to use our common sense. Is it all illusion? I think so myself, just personally off my information, things I've seen with my physical eyes. So that's just me. You can believe what you want to. I'm never going to persuade anybody to vote the opposite way of what you want to do. I just tell you to educate yourself, research it, find out for yourself. But that's a free thinker right there who doesn't take anybody's specific word for it unless you have the facts in front of you. They can make whatever story seem good to fit whatever narrative they want to push. At the end of the day, it's up to us to educate ourselves, research ourselves, look at these laws. Don't believe the media, because I was talking to my wife earlier today. You hear certain over and over again, Trump is this, Trump is that, he's a racist. What the View, I think Whoopi those, they always saying he's a racist, but he done hired her 4 times and she headlined at this show. So he's a racist, but he put an African American to headline at one of his casinos during the time when there wasn't too many black headliners. It doesn't make sense to me. But you said that then because he was on the Democratic side, but now he's Republican, because y'all got to remember it's no more independence. You can't. They give you the illusion to choose whoever else, but it wasn't even a choice with these two right here who we had to choose. Of course, you know you get the choice with Trump, but Kamala which is Kamala, however they want to pronounce a name out there. It's an Indian name, so generally it's pronounced Kamala. Y'all know plenty of Kamalas. If you ever seen Miss Marvel in Marvel show, the young lady, her same exact name, same exact spelling, but they call her Kamala. So just share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Like I said, don't be divided over these politics. Don't look at that. I believe in locally coming together to make the right rules that is more effective by us. But they're gonna do whatever they want to make their government run, whatever they decide. If we actually came together and had a united vote, I think we can make a change. But until we get to that point, we just running our own race. So just stay wise, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay motivated, stay inspired. Don't let these politics distract you from getting closer to who you need to be, to praying, to living your life, to making sure you make the right decisions for your family, to staying healthy. This stuff right here keep you emotionally drained, it keep you divided, it keep you confused with the truth out there. This misled information. Just look at the news. They shed so much fear, so much other stuff, so much hate. But where's the positive information? We all know that the presidents are just the elected officials, but you got Congress and you got the House who make all these other decisions. Yeah, they got decided folks. They can push forward different policies, but they still got to pass those Senate and House and everything else. So it's not just about that one person, but clearly right now I'm on the right of good. Even though it's evil, good, evil, I just can't do the ungodly stuff, just period. But we still got to live in our life. No matter who is the president, we still got to do what we got to do. But that's another story when I go into inflation and everything else and faith. That's going to be in another episode. I keep rambling on and on. But y'all stay tuned, stay blessed. Any questions or comments, let me know. With that, we out.